Hello and welcome to Saki Tech. In today's video, I will give you over 50 tips and tricks for the Samsung Galaxy Note 4. This is an absolutely fantastic phone and it is full of wonderful features. Every time I turn it on, there is a new feature to discover. So let's dive in and discover all the tips, tricks, and hidden features to make you a master of this phone. Alright, so the first feature is actually my favorite tip. So basically you go to camera, and then you can use your voice to take pictures. Now to enable this option, you have to click Options, go to More Options, and make sure that voice control here is actually enabled. So if you tap it once, it disables it. If you tap it one more time, it enables it. And to take pictures, you basically use one of these keywords. To take a video, you just say Record Video. Okay, so let's go out and do a quick shot. Smile. Okay, so as you can see, it took a picture. You can also say cheese, and that takes a picture as well. Now, the other thing you can do with this mode is you can combine this with the self-timer mode. So if you go over here and you tap the timer icon, you can choose 2 seconds, 5 seconds, or 10 seconds. If you go with 2-second option, now let's go back, capture. So by combining those two features, you can actually get some flexibility out of your camera. Alright, so while we're in the camera, let me show you one more option. So go to Settings, go to More Options, and choose Recording Mode. Just want to let you know, by default, your camera records at 1080p Full HD at 30 frame rates per second. If you want smoother video, okay, go to Smooth Motion. And that's going to record video at 60 frame rates per second. So that's going to be a smoother video, but remember, because now we're cramming in 60 frames into 1 second, it's going to take more space on your hard drive. So I would stick with normal, but if you need smoother video, then you go with 60 frame rates per second. Okay, so that's all I'm going to show you guys with the camera. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to change the transition effect that takes place when you swipe between the home screens. So what you want to do is you want to go into Settings, go to Device, and go to Home Screen. From here, you can tap Transition Effect, and you can switch between No Transition, Card Stack, and 3D Rotation, which I have right now. So if you do a card stack, that's what it's going to look like. Okay, if you do none, there's nothing. There's no effects at all. But this is my favorite, the 3D rotation, and that's what I'm going to keep. Now let's quickly go back into those settings here. And also, one thing that your phone comes with is Flipboard Briefing Screen. I don't like that, because when you go out here and you switch here, it brings up Flipboard. And I don't like that myself, but some people may actually enjoy this. And this is just a news feed system that they have. But if you go back to Settings, Home Screen, you can simply disable that Flipboard Briefing if it is in fact annoying you. And the next tip, I'm going to show you a quick tip with the actual S Pen, but I do want to let you know I'm going to come back to S Pen. I'm going to make sure you guys master the S Pen tips and tricks and hidden features today. But here's one hidden feature right here. So you can use the S Pen to hover between the screens without even touching the screen. All you do is you bring the phone close to the corner right here, and that allows you to hover between screens without even touching the actual screen. So there we go. And the next feature, also one of my favorites, it allows you to use your phone with just one hand. It's called the one-handed mode. So again, go to Settings, okay, and go to Device, one-handed mode right here. And there's a couple options here. The first one I'm going to show you guys is reduce the screen size. So make sure this is turned on, and once it's on, all you have to do is swipe from left to right, right to left, from one end of the screen or the other end of the screen, and that's going to basically reduce the size of your screen. And you can take this screen and you can put this screen anywhere you want, okay? But the best thing is to have it left justified or right justified, so you can use it with the whole phone just with your thumb. And of course, you have the physical keys. You know, you have the home key here. You also have the home key right there, okay? So this is fully functional phone. You can make phone calls, you can take pictures, whatever you need to do. The only thing that you're going to realize is if you grab your S Pen and you come close to the screen, it's going to disable this mode. This mode is not available with the S Pen. So look at that. So when you bring the S Pen, you get this message. It basically says the screen, the one-handed mode is disabled because S Pen is not allowed to be used on that mode. But otherwise, this is in fact, a perfect mode for one-handed operation. So there you go. You get full access to the entire screen here. So the next settings in the same place, go back to settings, go back to device, go back to one-handed operation, and what you can do is you can do one-handed input with certain applications. Okay, so let's turn this on and show you a live example. So if I go into Chrome and I go to a website right here, and when I bring up the keyboard, I can have that keyboard left justified or right justified for easy input if I'm holding the phone with only one hand. So my thumb will be able to access the entire keyboard with this one-handed mode. And then the final tip in this mode with the one-handed operations is if you go back to settings, same place, look at this side key panel. Turn this on, and what you're going to get is you're going to get a tiny little hovering window right here that will do the same things as your physical keys. So you can take this guy and you can put this thing anywhere that you please. Okay? And then if you tap on the screen, it hides on the corner. But you can pull it out by swiping outside. So this is the home key, this is the multitasking key, and that's the back key, and this is the options key. If you tap this, it brings up the options for that particular screen that you're working in. So if I tap this, it brings the options to customize my phone. Okay. Normally, I just pinch to customize, but when I have this thing right here, I can tap this, and that's going to bring the options for the current screen I'm working on. Now, I love the one-handed mode where you can resize the entire screen, but I'm not a big fan of this guy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back there into one-handed operation and turn this thing off. And there's other things you can do with it. I do encourage you guys to go in there and play with it a little bit. Alright, so the next option is if you go into text messages and just pull up random text, you will see that you have bubbles here, speech bubbles, and a background image, right? You can actually change these. So go back to the main screen, press options, go into settings, and go to display. And from here you can pick a different bubble style. So you can go with this kind, you can go with this kind, you can go with this kind. Click Save, and go to Background Style, and this is going to allow you to change the entire background for your text messages. So if you go back out, go back into the text message, and now it looks completely different. It is much more personalized. And a quick tip while we are in the message screen is you can use the volume up and down keys to increase and decrease the font size. So if I go volume up, that's going to increase the size of my text messages. And if I click volume down, volume down is going to decrease the size of the text. Alright, so another one of my favorites is when you go into the phone application, okay, and let me disable this one-handed mode really quickly. So we can see the full keyboard. If you hover over these keys, these digits, you will see the contact that is assigned to that particular digit for speed dial. So if you know, as you know, if you press and hold 2, it's going to call the person that it is assigned to. That digit is assigned to Ezio, so it's going to call Ezio. Okay, so let's go back out. I'm going to show you quickly how to add people to speed dial. So if you go to Contacts, and if you click Kenway, all you have to do is tap the options and simply click speed dial, and then choose the number that you want to add it to, which is number 4. Click Add Contact, click OK, and now if you go back to the keypad and you hover over number 4, you will see Kenway. So you don't have to touch the screen, you just hover over, okay? And if you're going to call that person, tap and hold, and that's going to give them a call. All right, so let's say you want to take a quick note. Okay, normally what you do is you unlock your phone, you pull out this pen, you press this button here, it brings up the command center, and then you choose Action Memo, and you simply take, let me X that out, you simply take a note, and then you save it, right? Let's say your phone is turned off. Let me X that out, discard, turned off, and you come in and you turn it on and you want to take a quick note. What you can do is you can press and hold this button on the S Pen and tap the screen twice, and that will bring up Action Memo on your lock screen, and then you can take a quick message, save that, turn off your phone, and you're gone. So this is fantastic to take notes on the go and do it quickly. And of course, you do have to enable this option. So you go to Settings, you go to Device, you go to Lock Screen, and then you actually choose this option right here. It says Action Memo on Lock Screen. Make sure it is enabled. Okay, and then double tap on the screen while you're pressing this button, and that's going to bring up the Action Memo so you can take a quick note on the go. So let's quickly cover some of the features that come with the lock screen. So if you go into Settings, and again, go to Device and go to Lock Screen, if you tap this over here, it's going to hide the camera shortcut that you've been seeing on the lock screen. So there's the camera shortcut, so you can swipe it, and it launches the camera right from the lock screen. So like I said, if you don't want that option, you can disable it. Okay, and then you can also change the unlocked effect. So here's my phone, and here's my unlocked effect. When I unlock the screen, there's a certain effect that it produces. So you can pick from all these different effects right here. So you got the abstract tiles. Okay, so this is one of my favorites. Okay, so that's a beautiful unlock effect, I mean. And if you go back in, you can go through all these different options: popping colors, ripple, abstract tiles, or nothing. I like this one. I'm going to keep that one for now. And of course, going back to the settings screen, going back to lock screen, if you tap this that says show information, you have even more options. You can change your clock from regular clock to a dual clock, and you can pick another city right here. You can also change the clock size. So if you go with normal, small, or large, okay, and that's going to reflect on your lock screen. You can also show the weather on the lock screen, which we don't have right now. So tap that, the weather is going to show up. You can access your pedometer from here. But the other thing that I like is you can add a personalized message on your lock screen. So tap owner information, just type in anything you want. I'll just put in Saki Tech, and then click OK. And now if I go back to the lock screen, you'll see the weather, and it also says Saki Tech. Okay, and the clock is set to be large. So you can do some customization on your lock screen as well. All right, so next let's talk about the quick settings in the notifications panel. So if you pull the panel down, you get these quick settings on the top. You can turn stuff on and off just by tapping onto these things, right? Agree. And then what you can do is you can slide over, and there's more options. And then if you press this 4 squares right here, it gives you the full options that you have. And then if you click the pen icon, it allows you to edit the order in which these things show up on the top. So you see sound, location, Wi-Fi. That's the same order you have right here, sound, location, Wi-Fi. So let's say I want the Bluetooth or screen rotation to be in the first place. Drag and drop, it swaps places. So when I go back up, now the screen rotation is in fact in the first spot. You can also take these available buttons from the bottom here and just put them up there. So anything you pick from here and you put to here, it's just going to swap places. So if I take screen mirroring, grab that, boom. So screen mirroring and the S Finder just swap places. Now screen mirroring will be showing up right here. Okay, so that's how you can customize the notification panel. And also, you can also change the entire font scheme of your phone. So if you go to Settings, under Device, you go to display and you tap on fonts. What this allows you to do is you can change the fonts of your phone. So you have options to pick from these guys. So let's go with Rosemary and click yes. And as you can see, all the fonts in my entire phone have changed to Rosemary. It looks actually much pretty. So the other thing you can do is you can go back to settings, go back to device, and go to display, and go to font, and you can change the font size of your phone. So you can go large, and that's going to change on the spot, or you can just go to regular, small. Okay, so let me go back to the usual font style, which is going to be default. Click yes, oops, and go back in business. Additionally, if you go back into fonts and tap on font style, you can actually download more fonts from the market. Okay, so all these fonts are available for purchase. I think they're all $1. Yep, they're all $1 each. So you do have a lot of options here to customize your display with pretty looking fonts. Going back into the same settings, so go to settings, go to device, and go to display. What else you'll see here is at the bottom here, it says LED indicator. If you uncheck this, your tiny little LED that flashes when you get a text message or a email or a phone call, a missed phone call, it blinks right here when anything happens. So if you turn this off, it's not going to happen. So I like my notifications on. And the other thing you can do is, as you can see at the bottom here, we have buttons that light up when you touch it. Okay, so you can change the time for how long you want them to be remaining on. So if I tap this guy, I can go 6 seconds. So if I tap it now, it's going to stay on for 6 seconds. Okay, if I go back here, I say 1.5 seconds, they'll go off right away. Whoop, 1.5 seconds, gone. And then I can always have them on, which I'm going to do, or I can always have them off. Cancel. Let's just keep them on the rest of this video. Alright, so let's go back into settings screen, and before I continue to give you tips, I want to give you a different kind of tip. So here's your phone, here's a settings screen. You have a tab view, so you can scroll through different tabs to get access to different kinds of settings. You can actually change this view. You can tap this options button, click view as, and just pick the list view. And that's going to give you a scrolling list of all the options. Okay, I prefer the tab view because it makes it easier for me to browse through the settings. So this is the tab view. Now the other thing you can do is you can create your own menu with shortcuts to most used settings. So tap this, click edit new settings, and pick any menu option that you want. So click sound, ringtones, display, and click done. And now you have a brand new tab right here with shortcuts to your quick settings. And this just becomes part of the entire display here. Okay. And if you want to cancel them, go back, edit quick settings, scroll down, uncheck. If it says 0 here, that means you have 0 checked, and the maximum is 12, by the way. And then click done, and that quick settings menu has disappeared. So while we are in connections, let's go to data usage. I'm going to show you something really cool here. So if you go to data usage, what you can do is you can set a mobile data limit. So if you only have 2 gigabytes available to you and you don't want to go beyond that, what you want to do is you want to tap this, tap it, and then you have to slide this red bar to where you want it to be. So I'll take this guy and I'll put it down to 4 gigabytes. So every time my phone comes close to wasting 4 gigabytes of data, it's going to shut off the connection automatically. So I don't have to go beyond that. And of course, you also have that orange bar here that allows you to set a warning. So first you can let the phone give you a warning, hey, you're approaching your 4 gigabyte limit at 3 gigabytes, and then at 4 gigabytes, it shuts it off. Okay, so you have to make sure you check this guy and set that bar wherever you want it to be. And of course, you have to pick your data usage cycle. So that is your billing cycle for your carrier. Okay, you can edit this as well. Now, one more thing, if you go up here, you can also show your Wi-Fi usage. So if I tap this, it now has another tab on the top. It shows me my Wi-Fi usage. I've used 1 gigabytes of Wi-Fi data on this phone. If I go to mobile, I've used 58 megabytes of data on this phone, and I can scroll down here and it'll give me details on exactly how I am wasting my data. Okay, so it looks like Google Play Store has been eating my data away on this phone. If I go to Wi-Fi, same thing. This is all the downloads that you do in Google Play Store. They waste your data. Okay, but this is for Wi-Fi, that's for mobile. So we talked about data management. Let's also look at the storage management options. So if you go back into settings, okay, and if you go to general, and if you scroll down, it says storage. Tap it, and here it's going to show how your phone is using its storage. So it's going to calculate something here. So system memory is using 7 gigabytes. Miscellaneous files are wasting 165 megabytes. That's cached data. If I tap it, I can actually delete the cached data. So if that number is too big and you need some more space on your phone, just tap it and clear some space for more music or other pictures and stuff like that. And then if you tap on any of these guys, they give you a little more detail on what's going on. So applications are going to be using 1.5 gigabytes. Pictures and videos are using 27 megabytes. So you get the idea. And of course, this is your available space. But this is a nice place to manage your storage just as you manage your data on the other screen. And then let me go over some of the options with your S Pen. So the S Pen does a lot of things. One of the things it does is, if you press the button, it brings up the command center. Now let's go into the settings that control S Pen. So if you go to applications, controls, and go to S Pen, you get a whole suite of options. So as you know, I just mentioned the air command. So this is the air command. Looks like you can turn that off if you don't want it. Okay, so now it's not going to work. So I like this. I'm going to turn it on. And the other thing is the air view function. And what that allows you to do is, like for example, I showed you this earlier. If you hover over things, it gives you information. Okay, so if I hover over this, it tells me what that is. I don't have to touch the screen. I just hover over. And this happens everywhere. So if I hover over the folder, okay, nothing happens here, but here. So when I hover, it moves stuff around and it shows you information pertaining to that particular button. So if I hover here, more options, okay? So that is air view. So let's keep that on. And the other thing, if you have noticed, is when you hover your phone over the screen, there's a tiny dot. You'll see the dot moving around next to the tip of your S Pen. You can also turn that on by tapping pointer off. So if I hover now over the screen, there's no pointer. Okay, so if that pointer annoys you, you can in fact turn it off. And that's why I like Samsung phones, because they give you a lot of customization options with everything that they do. And here is my absolute favorite, S Pen alerts. So if you put your S Pen on the table and you grab your phone and you just walk away with it, you take this and you go away. What's going to happen is you're going to lose your S Pen. You're going to forget that you left your S Pen out there. But the phone with this option actually alerts you when you walk a couple feet away, saying that you're forgetting your S Pen. Go grab it before you leave. Okay, so make sure you have this feature on at all times. If you have it off, you will forget your S Pen, and this thing is going to cost you $30. Alrighty, so let's keep that on. And that's basically most of what I wanted to cover with the S Pen, though you do have some other options. Now, when you detach your S Pen from your phone, when you pull it out at the bottom, it brings out the command, air command. You can actually change that by tapping this. You can go to action memo. So if I pull my pen out from the bottom here, it's going to bring up action memo, which is going to be this thing right here. Okay, and then you can take a quick note. Or you can just have the air command center come right up. And then you can change the sound. When you detach your phone from the phone, it's going to create a sound. You can change that to this different sounds right here. And here are some of the features that are specific to Galaxy Note 4. So if you go into these settings, and if you go into General, and if you scroll down to where it says Power Saving, you now have two options. You have the regular power saving mode that most phones have, and you have the Ultra Power Saving mode that only comes with some select phones. So let me show you what this is. If you turn this thing on, it's going to transform your phone into a black and white phone with access to only bare minimum things like making phone calls or sending text messages or doing some basic browsing. But what's going to happen is it's going to let your phone run for days and days and days on a single simple charge. So that's it. That's the ultra power saving mode. Not much you can do here, okay? And then it says it's going to last for 6.8 days on a single charge with 38% battery. So if this was 100% battery, just imagine that would be 30 days of use. Now we don't like this because we want the colors, we want the extra features. So we're going to turn off the power saving mode and go back to the colorful riches. Alright, so we're back in business. So let's go back into settings. I'm going to show you one more thing here. Go back to General and scroll down to the battery, tap it, and then you'll see an option. This is a brand new option. It's called fast charging. This option, if you have it checked, enables you to charge your phone up to 50% of battery life in 30 minutes. Okay, so that's why it is called fast charging. On top of that, this is a Note 4 specific feature. So the other thing I want to show you guys is this one. Show battery percentage meter on the top of the screen right there. So if I tap it, that meter is gone. Tap it again. Oops. We know that. Okay. And tap it again, and it's 37% on the top. It shows you the exact percentage of your battery life. And of course, you can scroll down here, and you can see what part of your phone is wasting your battery life. So as you can see, the screen is the biggest culprit. And one more quick tip, if you go into, let's say you want to customize your screen, go to the widgets, and let's say you're looking for some widgets. What I realized is on the Note 4, same kind of widgets are bundled together. So if you have widgets for calendar, they do get bundled in a folder. So you have folders within widgets, just like you have folders for apps. So if you tap this, it's going to show you everything in that folder of widgets. And then let me show you this one that I purchased. So I purchased HD widgets. They're beautiful widgets, and there are a lot of them, right? So when you purchase the widgets, there are like 20 different kinds. So if you tap this guy, you can scroll through all the different sizes and different options. So I like this because it reduces the clutter on your phone as far as managing your widgets go. And the next tip I want to talk about is if you go into the settings, and if you go to device, display, and let's say it is the winter and you're wearing some gloves. As you know, gloves are supposed to block us from playing with the screen, but not on the Note 4. On the Note 4, you have this option that says increase touch sensitivity, and that actually increases the sensitivity of your screen. So if you do have gloves, you can still use your phone. It's not going to be as smooth, but it will do the basic things that you need to get done. So some of you guys probably know what S-Voice is. S-Voice is something that comes bundled with Samsung, allows you to give out voice commands. Some people hate S-Voice, like myself. I prefer to use Google. So if I tap and hold the middle button, it takes me to Google, and I can do my searches directly from Google. It's perfect voice controlling software. Now, if you double tap, normally it brings up S-Voice, but I have that canceled. So to cancel S-Voice, all you do is you go to settings, you go to applications, and you go all the way down where it says S-Voice, and you simply uncheck this option. So it says open via the home key. So if you double press this, S voice is going to come. I don't like it, so I just disable it by having it here, by having that thing off. Alrighty? Now I know there are some things I did not go over, such as the multitasking and stuff like that. As you know, your Note 4 does come with some powerful multitasking options. So, if you turn the multi-window on over here, and if you press and hold this icon, it brings up the multi-window options, and then you can grab something you can tap on the calculator, brings up a pop-up window. You can tap this, gives you options. You can minimize it. When you minimize anything, any of these windows, they become little floating icons. You can put anywhere you want. Oops. And then if you tap it again, it brings it right up. And this is perfect because if you're on a website and you bring this up, you can just have this floating around. Okay, and if you need a calculator application, you don't have to go and dig for it. You can just tap it. It's right there. And again, you can do that with all these guys right here. Okay, the other thing you can do is if you grab the calendar and you put it right here, you can then take the, let's just say, gallery, and you can put it at the bottom. Let's just shut this off, and you can do split view multitasking. So you can be working on your calendar and looking at the pictures, or maybe you can be watching YouTube videos while you have the Maps application running. So you can do all these things with the multitasking on this phone. It really is really good for multitasking. I'm just assuming that most people that bought the Samsung Galaxy Note 4 do know about the multitasking capabilities. If you don't, I encourage you to play with these. And remember, if you go back in here and if you bring up the calculator, if you just tap on them, they pop up. They come up right pop-up windows. So you can take these, you can put this here, you can take this and put this here. You can minimize multiple items, just have them floating on your screen like that. So just remember, you can do all these things, and always you have this circle, the white circle on the top. Tap it, you can maximize it if you want, or if you tap it, you can exit the application. Alrighty, so that's multitasking for you on the Note 4. And one more final tip I'm going to show you guys is if you go into apps, and if you press and hold any one of these apps, for example, this AT&T app is absolutely worthless. So I can hide this, and I can also disable it. Disabling is much better because it does not run at all, not even in the background when you're not looking. So basically all you want to do is you want to tap and hold. Oops, I'm sorry. Go back, tap this, and tap uninstall disable apps, and then pick the one you want to disable. And it's going to ask you, did you want to disable? Yes. And sometimes you get the option to actually uninstall the updates, so it doesn't even waste your data for no reason. So just click uninstall all the updates and disable the app. So now that app is out of your way. It's not going to show up here. It's not going to run in the background. It's not going to waste your time. Let me give you guys a bonus feature. If you go into your settings, and if you go to general, and if you scroll all the way down, you tap about device, and then go all the way to where it says build number. If you tap that thing 7 times, what's going to happen is you're going to get a brand new hidden menu that's just going to show up out of nowhere. So if you go back in, you now see a developer options menu, which if you go in, you'll see all kinds of crazy stuff. I recommend that you guys don't touch it, but it's just there just so you know. So let's turn that off, go back out. It's going to show up there, but if you keep it disabled, you cannot touch any of these crazy options. Okay? If you enable it, be right here. Let's just disable that and get the hell out of here. And one final tip that I remembered is something you can do with the keyboard. So if you go to Chrome and just bring up the keyboard, what you can do is you can press and hold this icon that looks like a microphone. Press and hold, gives you the option to detach the keyboard. Now you have a floating keyboard you can put anywhere on the screen and type away as you please. Okay, and if you're going to go back to the regular keyboard, tap and hold that microphone icon, press the keyboard, and now you're back into the full keyboard. And also, if you go back here, and if you tap this T, now you can actually use to simply write stuff. Okay, so I can do W, and that converts that to a W. So I can go www.google.com right here. Alrighty, and if you want to go back, tap it, goes right back to the keyboard. So these are some of the keyboard options you get with the Note 4. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this video. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel for more videos to come. Give me a thumbs up if you liked this video. And also you can go ahead and connect with me socially on Google+, Facebook, and Twitter, for which all the links are in the description below. Thank you again, and I'll see you the next time. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, just throw them down in the comments section below.